His time and money for over 67 years.
Gerard Fury, here seated, was divorcing his wife, got a lawyer, and his lawyer went to bed with his wife. Now, why would that get a hand? He walks into a bar, and his lawyer is at the bar with his wife, is the allegation. He goes crazy. The two of them get out of the bar somehow. He goes to his house where he used to live with her till he got thrown out by her divorce lawyer. Then he goes to the lawyer's townhouse, and her car is in the driveway. He starts peeking in windows. This guy is crazy. I mean, with anger. And sees his coming down the hallway in his underwear. And he has not been able to get his case heard before any court in New Jersey in 2 years. You should also know that his divorce lawyer, the one who he alleges slept with his wife while representing him, is the son of the president of the New Jersey Bar Association. So here's the question, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Who is watching your lawyer? What does your lawyer do absent your presence? How well are you being defended? How much time is really on the meter? And if we agree that talk show hosts and airline pilots and doctors and lawyers can all make mistakes, who's going to blow the whistle? Especially if you've got lawyers watching lawyers. He steps forward now 2 years after, almost to the day after this terrible, terrifying night, with Hilton Stein. Mr. Stein, an attorney at law, has a practice devoted exclusively to the business of suing lawyers. Imagine how many Bar Association banquets he's invited to. Let's go here, Gerard. You were married for 7 years. You have one child.
Bill, excuse me, can I say something?
Please do, please.
I'd like to just say something. The initial response of this audience is a response that a lot of people in America unfortunately have, and I'm not attacking this audience. God forbid any one of you should ever be put in the position that I've been put in, because I am the underdog in this situation, and Hilton Stein, who's willing to come to my aid and represent people like us, America's public, against bastards like this, to do this.
Where's the... We called everybody. We called everybody. I understand a very, very civil response to the audience's giddy response to your pain. I think you agree that that's not because we have an audience filled with people with malice.
No.
But it is a kind of and it's not so funny to you.
Sex in America is a joke.
Yeah, we giggle.
No.
Okay, we giggle. But let's agree, that wasn't personal. And also, they don't know the details of this thing. Here's this picture. You're married 7 years. You have one child. Your baby has Down syndrome.
Right.
You had a restraining order placed on you to keep you away from the house. Is that right?
It's the marital home.
You went to what you thought was the best matrimonial law firm in the state of New Jersey at the time.
Yes.
Headed up by the president of the New Jersey Bar Association. This is obviously a blue-chip law firm.
Yes.
Do you live in Toms River, Ocean County? Is that where we're talking?
Yes.
What is it about you, New Jersey? You bring us all these stories. I mean, I'm just so glad here in New York we're so much better than you. Your lawyer said things that you're incidentally, there's no big bucks here. The man is not independently wealthy. In fact, at the time of this, he's unemployed.
I'm doing this out of desperation. I've been buried in this system for 2 years now.
Well, but I want to make the point, Gerard, that, it wasn't like, Donald Trump, you're not. And probably don't want to be. But the point is there's no big dollars here. You're a middle-class guy who works for a living, and you present yourself in a very painful situation with a wife. And you even went, did you guys not go to counseling for a couple of years?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so you tried to save this marriage. Your lawyer says things that you thought were strange, like things about sex. And here, from the notes, producer, did he say to you, do you have any sexual complaints against your wife?
Originally, when we first met, we discussed the topic of, I told my attorney, I said, first of all, I don't want a divorce. I don't want to divorce my wife. I prefer that hiring you as my attorney, I would like to have a psychiatrist brought in and have both my wife and myself interviewed. I would like to fight to save this marriage. And based on who's a parent of a handicapped child knows that there is so much stress and strain in that in itself, and that alone was the main focus of my marriage and some of the problems that my wife and I entered into. But prior to that, when my wife was pregnant, the first year of our marriage, her mother was in and out of hospitals, my father was in and out of hospitals, her mother was dying of a heart condition, and my father was dying of cancer. In the first month before, 1 month before my son was born, my wife's mother dropped dead of a heart attack, and my son was then born with Down syndrome, and immediately sent into a life and death surgery for 7 hours to save his life. And 4 months later, my father died from cancer. And within the first 2 years of our marriage, 12 more family members and friends have passed away. We were either in hospitals or funeral homes, hospitals and funeral homes.
Let me just, we've got to expedite this, Gerard. It has destroyed a lot of my personality. I've been on medication for 2 years. I've been hospitalized twice for being homicidal or suicidal. I dream about him every night, the lawyer. I want to kill him. I have this one dream where I am visiting my son, and there's another boy there, and he turns around, and it's got your lawyer's face, as though born out of wedlock by... Now, let's just get this in, Gerard. Someday I'll have 3 hours and no commercials. It is not today. So let's try and make sense. We owe that to you. Do I understand that your wife has acknowledged this one-time only indiscretion with your lawyer?
To the best of my knowledge, she hasn't even returned an answer to the original complaint.
Yeah, Phil, if I may, with respect to the complaint for legal malpractice, in which we're suing Viola Fury for acts pertaining to this event, she has not answered the complaint. We do not know what her position is with respect to this particular complaint.
But do we not have it?
She has
in the press,
in
the Ocean County Observer,
That's right.
And maybe the Asbury Park Press.
Press.
She acknowledges one time only. She was distraught emotionally. It happened, and she's sorry it didn't, but she was a little bit not quite on her pins emotionally at the time. All right, so we have in the press, in any event, his wife's acknowledgement that she saw this guy one time. It is not surprising that you are alleging that this woman was with this lawyer in a to reduce any penalties that might obtain to her or enhance her power over her own husband and the money she gets.
We have the allegation, it's a matter of public record.
Right.
We also claim in our complaint, which is a matter of public record, that Gregory Progarski engaged in a sexual relationship with Viola Fury.
Yeah.
And that's been admitted.
Okay, it was March 27th, Good Friday, and I'm at a friend's house playing pool with a bunch of guys, like about 16 of us, and we decide to all end up at the Yakety Yak Cafe in Seaside Heights. So we straggle out 2 or 4 at a time, and I am one of the last to get out of there because I was playing pool. So you arrive about midnight. Right. This is while the divorce proceeding is underway. You still have blinders on. You don't realize what's happening, and you go to the Yakety Yak Cafe and tell them what happened. Please be brief if you can.
Okay, I immediately saw my wife. She acknowledged that my presence. I said hello. I walked aside, but I kept an eye on her. The place was very crowded. Then I saw Greg Progarski approaching my wife at the bar. He had
Your lawyer?
My attorney. And I saw him approaching my wife at the bar. He had no knowledge that I was present. I saw the two of them drinking together for quite some time. At that point, he then came over to see me, and obviously my wife told him that I was there, and then he was aware that I was there. When he came over to talk to me, I said to him, Greg, my wife is here. I already had the knowledge that he would, to see what his reply would be. And he says, oh, I'm aware of that. I just saw her. I said hello. And he played it off as he wasn't even talking to her. He just said hello. In that conversation, I introduced a friend of mine to Greg Pogarski as my attorney. When Greg Pogarski says, excuse me now, but I want to go find some female company to spend the night with, he walks away from me, and my friend says to me, that's your attorney? Gerard, that's the guy, that guy has been hitting on your wife ever since I've been here tonight. And I says, whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Are you sure this is my attorney? And he started planting the seed. And then my friend Doug, who's here also in the audience, was also there that night, and bear witness to the fact that he then approached my wife for a second time. At that point, they told me, this is bullshit. Go after him and say, what are you doing? You're my attorney.
We're on the television, Gerard.
I'm sorry.
Please let me just, I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but let me go from your notes here to save some time. So now, they both leave. And you say, among other things, you know, you are freaking out. I run up to the bar, and I'm getting upset now, and my wife's gone. I ask her where she is. She said, her friend says she's not feeling well. She's gone home. Then I ask Gregory's friend where Greg is. He says, I don't know, but he can't be far because I drove him here. Now I'm freaking out. I am running up and down the streets outside the bar to see if they're necking in a car or in a corner. I can't find them. So then I hop in my car, and I drive up and down all the streets near the bar trying to find them, thinking I got to stop it before it happens. So then I try to give my wife the benefit of the doubt, and I drive to her house, but there's no car outside. I drive back to the bar. You're going crazy. Now you finally go to the lawyer's house, and you see your wife's car outside his condo.
Correct.
Now you start peeking in windows.
Right.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
What do you see in the window?
I was alone. I saw nothing in all the windows except her coat over the back of a dining room chair, and I knew that this was absurd. My worst dream was happening. The worst nightmare was happening right before my eyes. The suspicions of this coming, the adrenaline just started flowing.
Then you did see a person.
I was soaked. I said I needed a witness. I banged on, he lives in a townhouse complex. I banged on all the doors at 3 o'clock in the morning, woke up a dozen families. One guy came out. I asked him to call the Dover Township Police Department immediately, what the situation was. He was extremely sympathetic. He did it immediately. And at that point, I started trying to climb the trees to look in the windows of the second floor.
You're on the roof of this condo now.
Oh, yeah, I was on the roof of this.
You're 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're nuts. Gerard, may we say, without invading your personal privacy, it sounds to me like at this time you were still in love with your wife.
I'm still in love with my wife to this day. I no longer...
Okay.
In love, I love my wife to this day, and I'm very sympathetic.
But you are a crazy guy who's, you're till death do you part woman you suspect is in this condo. You're on the roof like a crazy guy, and you say in the notes to our producer that you wanted to kill both of them.
Right.
Now, what do you see? We got to get this in, Gerard. What do you see through the window?
Through the upstairs windows, all I saw was a closed bedroom door.
Okay, but you get to the live human being behind the window.
When I upon getting back down to the ground, I wanted to knock on the door, let them know somebody was there, get their attention. The police I knew were coming, and I ran to the front of the house to look up the best advantage window, which was the front window down a hallway. Greg Pogarski opened up the bedroom door and came out in the hall with his underwear.
What?
Wearing his underwear.
Does he come to the door?
No, I yelled up to him. He was looking down the stairs at the front door, and I yelled up to him, hey, Greg. And I was in the front yard, and he immediately spotted me. There was a light on, and he looked down at me, and I said, it's me, Gerard Fury. And I just totally lost it. I'm your client, you know. You're with my wife. At that point,
he does what?
He immediately dropped to the floor, and I saw the top of his head bobbing along as he came to the front window. And he was peeked out the front window to see what was going on as the neighbors were coming out on the in front of the townhouse. At that point, I went back up to the door and started banging on the door.
Now the dogs are barking, the neighbors are up, and you've created a big commotion.
And the police come.
Now, then the police come, and your wife leaves, escorted by the police, and does not look at you. Is that right?
Right. She was...
This is your story. Now...
She said something to the effect, it's not what it looks like.
And now, just let's get this in here. Now, it is your allegation, that by now Pogarski is dressed.
Right. By the time the police came.
But he's got a sweater on without the shirt underneath that he had at the bar.
Exactly.
His shoes are untied, and his zipper is open.
Right. He immediately got dressed when he saw me, immediately.
Right.
And within
Now-
minutes, thank God for the Dover Township Police Department, they were there, responded immediately to the call.
Right, so
and
you walk into the house with this guy,
the policeman and myself went into the house.
and you sit down in the living room.
No, we didn't sit down.
Okay, you say...
At that point, I asked that the names be exchanged, and I wanted the policemen's names and badges to witness the fact that they were there. Of course, the supervising officer went in the house first, removed my wife, so that
I understand.
let
Okay.
her go.
Now, you allege that Pogarski, the lawyer who was representing you at the same time he was seeing your wife in an intimate way, your allegation. At that moment, then, at some time that night, first of all, you say he was shaking uncontrollably, he was white as a sheet, and he was very, very interested in ensuring that the appearance of this impropriety not be made public, and he did not want his father's law firm to know about the spot that he was in. Do I understand your claim?
Yes.
He will return the $1,500 retainer to you,
$2,500.
$2,500, which you had given him in cash.
Right.
He will get you a lawyer. He's got friends, and if people owe him favors, and he'll get you the best divorce lawyer that he can find. Did he agree? Did he offer to pay for this?
He offered me everything. And a lot of that conversation is the investigation is ongoing, and other parts of that I prefer not to disclose.
Very good.
But
all right. So, just briefly, Gerard, 2 years after this incident, what's the grievance? What has happened to you that moves you in consultation with your lawyer to go public on the Donahue show with what is quite a story that at least one law firm in the state of New Jersey wants nobody to talk about in public? And you can be sure our tape recording this program, diagramming every sentence, we got a busload of litigious lawyers waiting to come down on you, me, and everybody in this audience because they stood by letting this happen without intervening. They'll figure out a way to get you, too. What has happened?
what has happened, mysteriously he vanishes from his father's firm, all right? He shows up working in the public defender's office as a public defender for the county. And
pro bono, do good stuff, defending people who don't have a lawyer, and that's most people in jail or can't afford one.
I think the one thing about life, if there's a God above, is that when you're in a situation to feel sensitive within yourself, things start fitting together in a puzzle form, and over a period of time, it just makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
I started reading articles about him in the newspaper.
Tell us your complaint, Gerard. Okay. I'm running out of time. This audience wants in here.
My complaint.
What has happened? If I'm understanding, let me just start you here. Delay here, delay there. You can't get to court. This judge here moves it there. Change of venue, maybe, maybe not. Should we combine? You're still married to your wife. You haven't even had your divorce prosecuted here.
Right.
Now comes the malpractice people, won't talk to him. The insurance people will not talk to him. This lawyer wants you to know that if this guy and his law firm had said, okay, he was young, he's just out of law school, it happened, here's some money, he would have taken it. He would have taken a courthouse steps.
In fact, Phil, let me add something.
And they won't talk to this guy. He sues lawyers.
Phil, they actually brought us into the insurance company and had us sit down, my co-counsel and I. Gerard was waiting downstairs. We conferenced this case for an hour and a half. We talked about every aspect of Gerard's physical condition, his emotional condition.
Yeah.
They looked us straight in the face and said, we're not going to offer $1 on this case. Rather, they're going to hire these battery of lawyers, which they have the best defense counsel available in New Jersey. They're going to fight us all the way.
All right, just a couple of things before we break, and we got to break. You did take this before the Ethics Committee of the New Jersey Bar, did you not?
Well,
you're not allowed to talk about it.
That's right.
Did you know this?
Well,
if they go to the Ethics Committee, the public is not entitled to know whether your lawyer is being,
Phil, in fact, if
They're two-legged kangaroo. Hang on, I'll be right out there.
Phil, if I disclose it, My license is in jeopardy.
If he discloses anything about the Ethics Committee, they throw him out, he loses his license. Now, one more thing. Yeah, what do you want to say?
If my client discloses it, he's subject to contempt of the New Jersey Supreme Court.
Because we don't want any flashlight on any proceeding involved of an Ethics Committee involving a lawyer, a practicing lawyer.
I ask you to have the audience draw its own conclusion.
Let me argue the case for the lawyers. Any yahoo could sue the lawyer and ruin his reputation. It wasn't true, and he's already on the front page of the paper, and he can't get any business.
Phil, we charged him with a sexual relationship, and this lawyer admitted it in pleadings that are a matter of public record.
Okay, one more thing. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, before you retire to your chambers, Mr. Stein, sir, I've never met you before. You are a duly authorized member of the New Jersey Bar Association, a member, passed your LLB exam and all that. You, I think, will not be upset if I remind this audience that you are yourself, in not every case, a Boy Scout. You have been, in the past, disciplined.
Absolutely.
You have never been disbarred.
No.
You have been disciplined for, among other things, manipulation of non-prescription drugs. Is that right?
Well, that was certainly part of it, yes, Phil. I mean, that was certainly part of it.
Right. Did you ever take money from a client without telling the client?
No.
Well, what were you disciplined for?
Well, I had some personal problems. I was in the midst of my own divorce, and those problems spilled over to my practice, and I didn't manage things properly.
Okay. So there was a time in your career then, Harold Stein, when you were the archetypical SOB lawyer that the public hates.
Well, I certainly did many of the things that I'm suing lawyers now and holding them accountable for what I did.
So then when you returned to practice after the disciplinary time,
I joined the...
you started defending lawyers who were subject to malpractice suits.
I worked for the legal malpractice insurance industry. I defended lawyers. I wrote a book on how to sue your lawyer, and then I devoted my entire practice, as I do now,
You went from defending lawyers to suing lawyers.
That's right.
And lawyers... And before you went to suing lawyers, you wanted the malpractice insurance industry you went to them and say, hey, look, all this finessing is costing you money, costing your clients money, it's unnecessary. They wouldn't talk to you.
I'm still trying to get their attention. I've written a letter now to Mr. Greenberg, the chairman of the AIG group. Say, give me a few moments of your time. I'll show you, you'll save millions in defense costs and save people like Gerard Fury the ordeal of having to defend himself in these proceedings.
Right.
Thus far, it's fallen on silent ears.
Is there no trial date set?
No, not in the legal malpractice case.
Is the change of venue decided?
Well, no, that's still a matter of yet to be filed yet.
And you don't want to try this in Ocean or Monmouth, is it?
Well, let me say this. I'm prepared to try this case anywhere in this country.
But you'd rather not try it in Ocean County. That's the place where his former lawyer's father practices, and he's a member of the, he's a president of the New Jersey Bar.
That's right.
So you suggest...
Bring it back. They fought us to bring it back to Ocean County. They won and brought it back to Ocean County when it was filed in another county. The Supreme Court also stalled 5 months. I have visitation rights.
This has gone to the New Jersey Supreme Court?
This is in front of the New Jersey Supreme Court.
For how long has it been there?
Well,
5 months on one decision.
Yeah, it's been returned. I mean, this has been a procedural...
And what did the return say?
Essentially, we're back to where we were from square one. None of the appeals were granted.
Right. And you come public today because you want to turn the screws, is this it?
No, Phil, I think it's about time that we start turning our attention towards suing lawyers. And I think that lawyers get on TV, talk about suing doctors, they talk about suing people in the media, all right?
Yeah.
But when you ever see people talk about suing lawyers, it's about time we start turning the tables now, and let's make this public.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Excuse me, kid? Kid? Your hot dogs are missing something, kid.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Mine's not. Yours? No way.
Bet it is.
Bet it isn't. We know we eat these all the time. Yeah!
Not these hot dogs. These are light hot dogs from Oscar Mayer. They have a third less fat, but since they taste so great, kids will never know what they're missing.
Nothing's missing.
Mm-hmm.
It needs a little more time.
Remember when the only way to get slow-cooked taste in the spaghetti sauce was to cook it all day? Introducing Ragu Slow Cooked Home-Style Sauce with that delicious slow-cooked taste that Grandma got when she cooked the sauce slow. If you love slow-cooked taste, you could cook for hours or taste all new Ragu Slow Cooked Home-Style. A whole new answer to...
In the spirit of the Northwest, here's what's happening.
In high school, Troy was a drummer in a rock band and an all-star basketball player.
No, nothing is easy for me. I have a head injury from an accident I caught because I drove when I was drunk.
KATU, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oregon, and the Portland Trail Blazers support alcohol and drug-free graduation parties.
We encourage businesses and individuals to become involved. Contact your neighborhood high school and learn how you can help.
I'm glad you waited. Hi, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I went and I can feel exactly what this guy went through because I went through the exact same thing. As I was removing property from my house, my lawyer asked my ex-wife out for a date. And due to that, I lost literally everything during the case.
Did you try to bring this before ethics?
Be honest with you, financially, I had no idea.
Well, I'm talking about ethics now. That doesn't cost you anything. This is the committee, you know, that supposedly looks over the lawyers.
Well, being ignorant with the law, having no idea, literally, I just didn't know where to turn.
Yeah. I thank you for sharing with this. I assume it's in your past and you're moving on.
No, it's still going on.
You mean you're not yet divorced from your wife?
Oh, yeah, I'm divorced, but I'm pursuing the case, actually.
Oh, so you're going to sue that lawyer?
I plan on it. Yes, I do.
All right. I do thank you. Good luck in finding a lawyer. Are you there? Hi, go ahead.
Hi. I've been actively pursuing a divorce since 1984. One of my lawyers took on a new partner who came directly from the firm that was representing my husband. All my husband had to do was immediately make a successful motion to the courts to have my lawyer dismissed from my case, which obviously added time and expense to my divorce. And as I said, I am still not divorced, and it's 1991.
So your divorce proceeding was prolonged because of a switch in employment by which lawyer? Your lawyer or your husband's lawyer?
No, my lawyer took on a new partner. This lawyer who he took on as a partner in his firm came directly from the firm that was representing my husband.
I see. Yeah.
And I called the Bar Association, and I was told, yes, what your lawyer did was a terrible thing. It is unethical, but I doubt there's anybody out there who will be willing to do anything about it.
Would you mind telling us from where you're calling? You do not have to tell.
From New York City.
New York City.
That's why I say Gerard's the hero here, because after 2 years of being silent, he's now come forward and said, I'm going to share my experience with you, so if this doesn't happen to you out there.
Are you there, caller? Hi.
Yes, I am.
Briefly, please.
I sympathize with the gentleman going through divorce, but let the audience and everybody in the country understand, this is not just divorce. Benjamin Franklin said, don't let them get a hold of your government, referring to lawyers. That's who's passing your laws. That's who's running your government. If they're this unethical with a divorce or something as personal as that, what do they care about your government or you? They're raping us.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks very much. Thank you. I wonder if we'll get any lawyers coming to the show. Are you there? Hi.
Hi. Yes, if he still loves his wife so much and cares so much about her, why is he publicly embarrassing her on national TV by having her arrested, suing her lawyer? Does he think by making a fool out of her it's going to bring her back?
We have some people in the audience want to talk to you, caller.
Embarrassing her? This poor guy's been put through living hell. He's just trying to get justice. This attorney took his money, hasn't represented him. He's embarrassing her? Wake up.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I don't think so that this gentleman is such a poor fella because he has had a restraining order put against him, which tells me he was not all that nice either.
Well, I'd like to respond to that.
Sure.
Okay. There's allegations also that will be brought forth later of some lies involved with her attorney. All right, her attorney lied in court to a judge about how much I was making in order to get her higher support money, all right? And in the state of New Jersey, you go, they give you a checklist of 1 to 12, why are you divorcing your husband? They give me the same list, and they take the two and they throw them out the window, and they divide your assets and make room for the welfare of the child.
Then one day you told our producer, Gerard, then one day she, your wife, trumped up an argument and called the police. While she was on the phone, I tried to take it away from her, and she got cut on the face. Anyway, she had a restraining order put on me, and I couldn't even get my clothes. The cop said, look, pack what you need for a couple days. We see things like this all the time. You'll be back. So, complicating your divorce situation is going to be the allegation of physical abuse.
Right.
Do you acknowledge then? Was the skin broken on her cheek?
The problem that happened there in an argument, she calls my family anytime we had an argument. And in this particular argument that we were having, she grabs for the phone, I grab for the phone, and she pulls back on it. And I mean, it was just like a drop of blood. When the police arrived, they asked her, did your husband hit you? She said no. Those policemen left. She went and saw her lawyer. They got 3 other policemen to write a second report that says I punched her in the mouth.
You are here to say that you never, ever...
I never hit my wife a day in our life together.
And you are here to say that the malpractice insurance, did you call on a company or an association?
A company. My former employer.
Right. The insurance, I see, the place you worked,
that's right,
where you defended lawyers
that's
against
right,
malpractice.
That's right.
You worked for an insurance company.
That's right.
You're the worst kind of lawyer, an insurance lawyer. Now, you leave that and you start suing lawyers.
That's right. And I go back to them.
You go back to them and say, hey, look,
listen,
what do you say?
I've seen all sides of this. Sit down with me. Let's find a creative solution. I'll save you millions of dollars, and we'll save the ordeal of people like Gerard Fury. All right?
Yeah.
Don't pay all these...
May I just cut through this?
Go ahead, Phil.
You're essentially saying to the malpractice people, settle some of these things.
Absolutely.
Settle them on the courthouse step. Let's not go through 2-week trials, 3-week trials, selection, voir dire, all this hocus
and 2 years
pocus.
of discovery.
Yeah, and they're saying, no, why? Why don't they talk to you? Because why? They think they can beat these.
There's no doubt in my mind they believe that we were going to go away. And let me tell you something, Phil. With respect to Gerard's case and all the other cases I'm handling, we're not going away. We're going to bring these victims across...
Is it your belief that lawyers do go away? That they don't stick in for the long shot? That you can wear a lawyer down and that he gives up and the client's standing there without...
I challenge the audience to go find very many lawyers who devote their practices to suing other lawyers.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Hey, nice suit. Expensive?
Not at Burlington Coat Factory.
Designer dress. Cost a lot?
Not at Burlington Coat Factory.
Wow, great outfits. Cost your mom plenty?
Not at Burlington Coat Factory.
But why do they call it Burlington Coat Factory?
Because they have more thieves than anybody.
Besides, ever try to say Burlington ladies, men's, kids, suits, shirts, sportswear, linens, dresses, furs, slacks, Coat Factory?
Trésor, the fragrance for treasured moments. Trésor, the new fragrance from Lancôme, Paris. You'll find it at Meyer & Frank.
For 85 years, you've been making original, delicious things to share with your family and friends. And more often than not, when your recipes have called for sugar, the one you've chosen is the pure cane sugar fresh from Hawaii, C&H. So while it is our 85th birthday, we know we wouldn't be celebrating it without you.
As part of the Earth Agenda, KTU and Northwest Natural Gas reminds you that recycling plastic is as easy as 246.
Look for those symbols on plastic containers.
Then bring your clean, separated plastic to participating Thriftway stores this Saturday from 9 to 4. The Girl Scouts and Denton Plastics will be on hand to receive your plastic materials. Find out exact drop-off locations and information at any Thriftway.
And start saving your plastic for the next Good Neighbors Plastics Recycling Day, March 23rd.
While this tree was still a seedling, tall ships still sailed the Willamette. The Great Flood of 1894 came and went. Today, this century-old Douglas fir filters pollutants from the air. As part of the Earth Agenda, KETU, Northwest Natural Gas, along with Safeway and the Oregon Association of Nurserymen, has donated trees to fifth graders all over Oregon. Those students will plant those trees in honor of Arbor Day during the first full week of April. Why don't you make some history yourself? Plant a tree for Arbor Day.
To be part of the audience, please send a postcard to Donahue Tickets, care of NBC, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, New York, 10112. Remember, postcards only, please.
The man on our stage claims that his divorce lawyer wound up sleeping with his wife. How unethical are lawyers? How frequently do they behave this way? Every day. Every day, okay, hang on. And more important, what are we doing to shed light? I mean, what's the check and balance within the legal system? You know that scale that they all have on their office wall? Well, what scale is brought to bear when a lawyer transgresses? Incidentally, this is the copy of the New Jersey Lawyer from last summer. This is the magazine, a very attractive magazine. On its cover is the New Jersey State Bar Association president, Alan J. Pogarski, whose son is the person against whom Mr. Fury has leveled these charges. One more thing, his attorney at law, Hilton Stein, steps forward to say, among other things, that they can't seem to get this thing moving in Jersey. Everywhere there's a finesse. There's no expedition of any kind of due process here, and they think it's because powerful people within the state bar and the legal system of New Jersey are pushing buttons covertly to finesse this embarrassment. Are you there, caller? Hi.
Yes, I was in trouble with the law, and I was referred to an attorney, and he told me I had to open up to him and tell him everything. So I told him I had been a prostitute, and he wound up paying me to give him what he wanted.
Yeah. What did you get? Did he do anything else for you?
Yes, he won my case.
Won her case. Well, unfortunately, as we, apparently, if I'm understanding some of the women in our audience, this is not an option open to all women. Do I understand? No.
One good turn.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, how do you trust your lawyer with everything you have been through and the results you've gotten in the last 2 years? How do you know he's not on the take or whatever if this thing has gotten nowhere? Do you ever not...
Yeah, how do you know Brother Stein is legit?
First of all, I don't, all right? But other than Hilton Stein, I have 6 attorneys, 3 of them that have worked with me as advisors who are in a friendship relationship and I've known for some time. And I got to clarify something. I'm not here to bash lawyers, number one, because first of all, this is probably the best system the United States has all over the world. I would not want to be in another judicial system somewhere else in the world, all right? What I am complaining about is the handful of people that have so much political influence inside a system that they can take that system and because there's one rotten apple in there, allow the whole barrel to spoil.
I'm from Monmouth County.
Hang on. This woman stands to say she's from Monmouth County, which is contiguous with Ocean County, which is the general arena in which this very painful drama has taken place. I assume you're not married to a lawyer.
I'm not married at all, and that's kind of what I want to say. This is not as unusual as you might think. I was widowed at a very young age, and then your new kid on the block, newly available, and you'd be surprised about some of the offers, the first ones from my professional men.
Professional men?
Professional men that I would deal with, doctors, for example.
And lawyers?
No, my lawyer was very religious.
I see. Thank God. We could use a few more religious lawyers. Wouldn't hurt some of these talk show hosts to go to church, you know.
This is a question for Gerard. Did you tell your lawyer any personal items that may have caused or enticed him to go after your wife?
After he met my wife, he was very interested in to go back on the sexual questions that, as part of the to include that as part of the complaint against her. I didn't want to file a complaint against her. He told me, forget about it. You file an answer against her, you're getting a divorce, that's what's going to happen. He was very interested in our sexual relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question for the attorney.
Right.
How many more lawyer busters are there like yourselves? Are you one of a kind? And do you have a very successful track record?
Yeah. And how much do you make?
Yeah.
Well, let me say this. Phil, I don't know of anyone else who devotes his entire office to just simply suing lawyers, but we have been successful, though. We were able to settle 4 cases last year. And how much money did we make? Well, we put most of it right back in, Phil. We know ultimately we're going to get to the jury on a lot of these cases, and we just have to wait it out.
You don't have any doubt that this case will be heard before a jury, absent an out-of-court settlement.
That's right. And, Phil, I think what needs to be said is what you said right from the outset of the show. Had someone come up to Gerard, put his arm around him and said, listen, we made a mistake here. Let's take care of your psychiatric bills. Why don't you and your family go away for a week, all right, and try to rehabilitate the relationship? We wouldn't be here today, Phil.
And we'll be back in a moment.
There's important news on women's health. A woman's body can go through a lot. Any gynecologist will tell you. Becoming a woman, childbirth, vaginal yeast infections. It's important that now most women can cure their own recurrent vaginal yeast infections. Gynolotrimine, prescribed millions of times by gynecologists, has just become available without a prescription, full strength, so women can immediately begin their cure. Only Gynolotrimine brings early treatment, early cure. Gynolotrimine.
Sorry, Billy. Only Imperial's buttery taste deserves the crown.
At a time in America when everyone did what was expected, 2 women found the courage to do what was right. Siskel and Ebert give The Long Walk Home 2 thumbs up. Coretta Scott King says, I wholeheartedly recommend this important film. And Rex Reed calls it one of the best films of the year.
When it's all said and done, people are going to look at you, Miss Thompson, and they're going to say that you were part of this.
Sissy Spacek, Whoopi Goldberg, The Long Walk Home, rated PG. Starts Friday, March 22nd at a theater near you.
It's the grand opening of Tom Peterson's Superstores. We make it easy for you with 3 great locations: East Side, West Side, North End. Welcome to Tom Peterson's Superstores. At Jansen Beach, we've got it all. Video, home audio, car stereo, appliances, colored television. Big screen, 25-inch remote, only $327. Now that's Tom Peterson's Superstores.
Plymouth Voyager has an advantage that could save your life, an advantage that no one else has. It's the new minivan airbag, available right now at your Chrysler Plymouth dealers. When used with your seatbelt, there's no better driver protection. And right now, Voyager starts as low as $13,266. A minivan airbag, another reason why Voyager is #1.
There's a new car for you at your Metro Chrysler Plymouth dealer where they have more advantages for your family. Choose the sport. Then sign up for the Channel 2 Sports Challenge at any of the 5 La Casa Real locations in Portland or Salem. If your name is chosen, you'll take on a member of the Channel 2 Sports team. Then watch the Channel 2 Sports Challenge Fridays on Channel 2 News at 5 and 6:30.
Amazing twists of fate on the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
I'm glad you waited, caller. Hi.
Hi, I'm sitting here watching your show, and I am so angry. I mean, everything I ever hear on your show is bad-mouthing attorneys. There are many attorneys out there who are honest, law-abiding citizens, and you can't tell me there's not one person in that audience who has not come across an honest attorney. And if Mr. Stein was disciplined by the Bar Association, you could bet your life that he did more than one thing illegal, because it takes a long time before a lawyer is disciplined. And if he was disciplined once, you could bet he'd be disciplined again.
Want to talk about this?
Listen, Phil, let her read my book. I talk all about it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of attorneys that before they even take your case, they want to know what type of a house you have, if you have a car, if you have a motorcycle or an airplane. And they do not return calls unless you have absolutely nothing left.
Yeah.
You can, please. I certainly will. I would like to ask the caller, is she an attorney? Is the reason she's taking this attack on the lawyer here?
Ask her.
My
Are you an attorney?
No, my husband is.
Oh! She's got blinders on.
Phil, I probably...
Mrs. Sherlock Holmes, thank you so much.
I'd probably suit her husband.
Huh?
I'd probably suit her husband.
No. You know, if the lawsuit doesn't fit, don't wear it. May we just say this?
I cannot believe the attitude of this audience. I mean, Lord has not met an honest attorney.
Yes,
and
listen.
yes, I am married to an attorney who works long and hard to support his family. And he has never done a dishonest thing. He has never overcharged anybody. And he is not alone.
Well, you want it? What's the matter? Hang on, I'll get to you in a second. Yeah.
Then I think that they have to discipline themselves, and I agree with Mr. Stein.
Yes.
Mr. Stein, that attorneys have to...
Once we start
I agree
hitting,
with you.
Thank you. Once we start hitting lawyers in their pocketbooks, it'll change the way they do business.
Sir.
First of all, the caller needs to calm down and relax.
Well,
if
that's all right.
If he was, as you were saying, is that it's one bad apple, and you have to take a look at that.
The question is, how pervasive are the bad apples? That's the question. Right. And what is being done to rid the barrel of them? Yeah.
I'd like to say that I'm sure there are many bad lawyers. I'm sure there are many good lawyers. I happen to have a sister who I think is a very good lawyer. But the point I would like to bring up is that the courts are burgeoning with litigation. There is ever more litigation. It's a nightmare. Is there not a level, an arbitration court, something that some other place to handle yet more litigation? Never going to litigate about the lawyers? Give me a break.
That's an excellent point. I've called upon the legal malpractice insurance industry to designate someone to simply evaluate these cases, and let's see if we can't find
and how political will those appointments become?
Well, I just want to say that lawyers, like everybody else, are human. But I want to ask Mr. Fury, why did your wife get custody of your child?
Based on the original restraining order, when we went before a judge, I was without counsel, all right? The house was given to her as the primary caretaker of my child, and it was an agreement based on the fact that my wife does not work and I had worked during the marriage. Therefore, I was still responsible to go on supporting the bills, paying the mortgage on the house, which I'm still paying. The mortgage, all the bills of the house, as if I was still there, paying all the bills on my child, including medical, plus giving her child support weekly. And on top of that, I have to go out and support myself in a garage apartment while she lives in the house.
Yeah.
Has your former lawyer been punished anyway or suspended by the bar?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, as far as I'm concerned, the state of New Jersey condoned his actions by giving him a job with the public defender's office.
And we'll be back in a moment.
Please stand by for a revealing demonstration on what you can buy with $100 at a major department store compared to Value Village, where blouses start at just 99 cents, sweaters and pants start at just $1.99, complete outfits for under $10. Get all of this for the price of just one outfit at a major department store. Whether you're buying clothes, housewares, books, toys, or furniture, your money buys much more at Value Village, the thrift department store. So if you want more, shop Value Village.
Like a lot of Mexican restaurants, La Casa Real offers a complete menu of authentic Mexican dishes. And like some Mexican restaurants, La Casa Real uses only the freshest natural ingredients. But while some restaurants claim to serve authentic Mexican food, they're still missing the key ingredient, an authentic Mexican chef like Armando Amador. Right now, get the whole enchilada, a complete meal for two, just $13.95. Come taste the difference at La Casa Real, where every day is a fiesta of good taste.
You may have noticed that we're having a little phone-a-thon here at Pioneer Pacific College.
That's right. We're taking the calls and sending out feeds, free brochures.
You know, that phone-a-thon changed my life. I called in for a free brochure describing their exciting career programs like paralegal, computer office specialist, drafting, and legal secretary. I met with Pioneer's friendly staff and started my new career training. They even helped me get financial aid. Picking up that phone was the smartest move that I ever made.
Classes are starting soon and the phones are ringing, so call now 1-800-783-3648.
Introducing Super Easy Toppers made with Campbell's Cheddar Cheese Soup. And Super Easy Toppers made with Campbell's Cream of Mushroom Soup. With Campbell's, Super Easy Toppers are good.
Make your Campbell's Super Easy Topper really super with fresh asparagus or pasta from Safeway. You can count on Safeway to have the freshest selection of your favorite foods 24 hours a day. And that's why at Safeway, you can always see the difference and expect the best.
If you don't like changing your cat's litter box, change to America's fastest-selling new cat litter, Scoop Away. Scoop Away completely absorbs liquid waste to form solid clumps. Scoop out the clumps, and you scoop away the odor, and the clumps won't break. The rest stays clean, so it doesn't need changing. Just replace the small amount used. And only Scoop Away has ActiGuard health protection, so it's better for your cat, too. So to eliminate odor, don't change the litter box. Change to Scoop Away cat litter, also available in scented.
Meet Monroe Friedman, legal ethics professor, Hofstra University, New York. You'll stand, sir.
Thank you.
You've been listening in on this, and here you are in the classroom teaching ethics to would-be or future LLBs. What are your thoughts here as you listen in on it?
My first thoughts are that few people have been as critical of the profession as I have from within the profession, but I do want you to know I am proud to be a lawyer. It means a great deal to me, and most of the lawyers I know are ethical and decent people, and they are helping to preserve all of our rights. There is a problem. You take any large group of people, and there's going to be a certain proportion of them who are not going to be honest and who are not going to be doing what they're supposed to do. The legal profession has not been policing itself the way it should have been doing. One of the things that we did was to teach patients that if you have a grudge against or a grievance against your doctor, you don't go before a panel of 3 doctors, you go before a jury of 12 patients. And clients began to catch on. And they came to realize if you have a grievance against your lawyer, you don't go before a panel of 3 lawyers, you go before a jury of 12 clients.
Translated, malpractice suit.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
And the fact is, however, that there is far more policing now of improper conduct by lawyers than there has ever been. I do not believe that there is more unethical, improper conduct among lawyers than there has been in the past. We are getting, in shows like this and otherwise, we're getting more exposure of it than we've ever had before.
Do I understand now, it's against medical ethics in writing. It's against, for example, for a psychiatrist to sleep with his patient. Is there any such language in any ethical code covering attorney behavior?
There is such language in a code that I wrote that nobody has adopted.
So there literally is there's no language on paper that proscribes this behavior.
That's true.
Do you have any thoughts about this as you listen in on this?
It is not one of your hard cases. Your lawyer is supposed to be your champion against the world.
Right. Assuming guilt here, and that's what we have to do. We're not a court of law. And absent all these turndowns, assuming guilt here, what would be, in your judgment, the appropriate punishment for an attorney who engaged in this kind of behavior?
As far as discipline is concerned, he should be disbarred. There's no question.
I thank you. Yeah.
I want to know how long the relationship between your wife and your former lawyer last.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
How long did the relationship between your wife and former lawyer last?
Yeah, did the relationship with your lawyer continue?
It ended immediately that night.
Yes.
One thing I don't understand about this whole story is you said that your lawyer, how smart could he have been if all 3 of you were at the bar and then he leaves with your wife? Didn't he think that you were going to follow him or be extremely angry?
It's the arrogance of the practicing bar today, and that's what we have to address. It's the belief they can get away with anything with respect to the relationship with a client.
Back here, please.
I would like to know, when Mr. Fury retained his attorney, was he acquainted with him? Was the attorney recommended?
Did you know the guy?
Or did he pick him out of the Yellow Pages?
No, the law firm was recommended to me. I went to the senior partner, and he recommended his partner's son, who was Alan Pogarski's son. And he said that he was new with the firm and that he could handle my case very well because it was a simple divorce and it was just a marital home and the welfare of my child.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you have any aid helping you pay all these bills that you have?
No, I have no help whatsoever.
Are you working?
I am in the film industry. We're in a lockout situation right now with the
you're
movies.
Temporarily not working?
Exactly.
Back in a moment.
Lots of margarines say they have a buttery taste, even when there's no butter in them. Kraft Touch-A-Butter spread has creamy, rich butter in it. Just a touch. Kraft Touch-A-Butter. A touch of real butter makes a real difference.
You've only practiced an hour.
special softness of Northern comes from 2 sheets being quilted together, and quilting makes a difference you can feel.
Kathy?
Class action. Class action, rated R. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
What was on Tom's sandwich that wasn't on Billy's? Imperial. Only our buttery taste deserves the crown.
Enjoy the taste of Imperial margarine at lower prices every day at Fred Meyer. Choose from regular and light stick quarters and experience the taste fit for a king. Imperial. You'll find it at Freddy's, the store that's been saving Northwest families time and money for over 67 years.
Special today at Smith's Home Furnishings. Computers on sale plus 1-year deferred financing. For example, a leading technology computer system with many excellent features and a 14-inch VGA color monitor is just $15.97. Smith's will also include the Microsoft Windows software program absolutely free, a $99 value. And you can buy with no cash out of your pocket for an entire year on approved credit. But don't wait. Computers are on sale with 1-year deferred financing right now today at Smith's.
What's a good demonstration of how powerful a vacuum is? How about paper clips, jelly beans, quarters, marbles, 3/4-inch nuts, 3/4-inch bolts, 3/4-inch nuts and bolts? What vacuum has this much power and a hose that lets you clean from floor to ceiling? The Regina Housekeeper.
Very little time left. What do you say to those? You shouldn't try a case on the air. You shouldn't talk about it in public while it's pending.
Well, we're mentioning what's a matter of public record, all right? And why
Services provided and promotional fees paid by the following.
I hope.
Green Forest, environmentally friendly paper products made with 100% recycled fibers. Soft and absorbent Green Forest. Good for families and for nature.
No nonsense. The pantyhose that hold up through your busy schedule without a snag. No nonsense. The pantyhose that last.
For the perfect weekend and the perfect frequent stay program, check into the new Drake, the only Swiss hotel on Park Avenue.
Amazing twists of fate on the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
It's true, Mervin's super sale is back. Oh, I'm so excited.